Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Object 261. It's the Tier 10 Soviet SPG. This one's located on the southeast spawn of mines, and it's under the command of the Bassman from Hell of RBRN2. Yes, Reborn 2. And, well, he's actually challenged me to see if I can spot the moment he makes a mistake, or if he makes a mistake at all. Game on! Well, you can see there are two Object 261s in this game, the other one called Perfect Stranger. Looks like he's going to get to the bushes first, but, well, Bassman can work this area too, and he does know how to do it. Now, knock the tree down. We'll tell the enemy Arty that he's there, but he can still work the area even then. Well, enemy tanks have got into the castle grounds, and the first shot actually does get a hit on a Manticore and an EBR. In fact, one of our, I think it was one of our EBRs, just dismounted off the hill, and he'd taken some damage. Now, it's an 18cm howitzer, which is capable of doing 800 alpha, 45mm of bin, 9.5 meters on burst radius, between 11.5 and 29 seconds of stun. A direct hit on an IS-7. Now you notice what he's doing. He's hugging the wall the moment he's fired, so he's not in the spot where the enemy Arty thinks he might be. And if the enemy Arty is looking, they might see these trees falling down, but they won't know precisely where the Bassman is. And the moment he fires, he changes position immediately. So it's very unlikely that the enemy Arty can actually get a shot on target. He's trying to get that EBR behind the rock there. These things can move rather quickly. Well, he fired and changed position straight away. And there's no counter battery. Listen for that rumble. The moment you hear that rumble, you know there's an inbound shell. Now the standard reload for these shells is 30.68 seconds. Bassman's got it down to 25.65, which is very good because that's about the same rate as a 155mm howitzer. He's got two skills working at the moment. He's got concentration skill and he's got side by side. And so long as he's near his teammate in the other Arty, the side by side will be working within 50 meters. And the concentration skill, well, that kicks in the moment he stops moving and he's stationary whilst aiming. The enemy Arty in this game is a Batchat 155-58 and another Object 261. Now the enemy does tend to get a bit of an advantage because there's so many places on the north spawn that you can hide. On the south spawn they're relatively few. Oh, that was a direct hit! And the enemy is starting to counter battery. They've just stunned the other 261, but they didn't even touch Bassman because, of course, he wasn't in the spot when the shell arrived. Now, remember, it's a Batchat 155-58, so he might have 3 shells, depending if that actually was the 58. Rounds out. Oh, he got a hit and kill. He's just taken out the Gorilla 15 on the enemy team. I think that's almost worth a repeat. There he is, the gorilla behind the rock. Now you can see he's moving, he's loaded. Now, rounds out. Oh, good shot. In fact, the guy had already taken a little bit of fire from one of our teammates, and you can see they occupied the northeast corner of the map already. And so they were able to shoot up onto the plateau. One of them got a big hit on the plateau, and then Bassman finished it up and got the kill. Okay, we just saw a 705, or what looked like an Object 705, moving into the castle grounds. Just planted a shell into the E100. He only got 158 out of that one, but it's more damage. And of course it does lay the ground down on that E900 that he can't come any further. So if that does try, he's more likely to get fired on. Well, it wasn't a 705 that we saw in the castle grounds. That's an IS-7. And he got another hit. 214, runs for cover. Now, he's working. This is actually quite a good sequence that he's firing. He's moving for cover, firing. But the only problem is he is moving back to the same spot that he fired at only a few seconds before. If he does hear that rumble from the enemy Arty, he needs to move and move quick to get out of the way. You can see there's a furious battle going on in the northeast corner, and in fact actually we've lost most of the tanks that we sent round that route, but we're only one tank down on the enemy. That's another direct hit. In fact, the runner Sorrente on our team just got killed by the IS-7. And that means now the enemy could be coming down the east side of the hill. We do have a Hori 3, but he can't be depended on to kill all of the enemy tanks coming down that route. There's the back chat. We know where he is now. He's in Nigel's spot. And that's a direct hit as well. Yep, Nigel's spot, C1. Spot made famous because I found it years ago. Back when before I even started What Arty Noobs. We found this position because there was a set of bushes there which you could hide behind and lob shells onto the hill, and the enemy couldn't work out where you were. But it's still just as good as it was, but Wargaming have taken precautions to try and make it more difficult to use. We seem to get a bit of stuttering. I'm not sure if this is down to the fact that there's a bit of lag. Not sure, it's only intermittent. We've got two guys now fighting for us over on the corner, K91 and of course that Hori. And unfortunately we just lost the K91. We're trying to put around into the CTP. Nice shot, direct hit, 293. Of course he's firing the stun HE because he wants to pick up stun assist. He hasn't picked up any at all so far. And there's the E900 on the enemy team wiped out. They still have another one. The 60 TP's gone. And that means now the closest to us is either the T110E3 or the E900. In fact, it's the E3. But he's still got plenty of health. Whereas this E900, just behind that rock, is very low on health. Okay, the Manticore's coming in to try and threaten that E3 by tracking him and then leaving him defenseless. Bassman can turn from this position and start shooting there. But what we didn't notice, we've lost one of our teammates. Rounds out. Oh, he got a kill! He took out the IS-7. That's the cover. And unfortunately, that was the Object 261 on the enemy team taking out our Hori 3. But the enemy E3 is now a one-shot with only 153 hit points. We're second to last left on our team. Oh, that's the E900 going, but now we don't know where the E3 is. Now he fired blind there on where the enemy was. It looks to me like the E3 is more concerned about the Manticore at the moment than he is about us. So now might be the time to go out and put a shell directly into the guy. And in fact, the Manticore managed to deal with it, but he needs to keep moving to avoid the enemy Arty nailing him. This is an exciting game. And yes, the Arty is more concerned about the Manticore. Now, we didn't see our teammate get killed, and I'm not sure. There he is. We've just seen where his wreck is. So he obviously went too far out, and that's why he got spotted. And there's the back chat. He's been spotted. He moved. He used his W key, but he's moved to a position where he can be taken out, and he's gone! And that's a kill. 3 kills now for Bassman. To be honest, I don't see how he's actually made any mistakes in this battle at all so far. He's played it absolutely as I would have played it. Maybe the only thing would have been different was I wouldn't have blind fired the E3. But okay, we can see where the Leopard 1 is coming in. So we know the route is coming. The Manticore is staying out the field behind cover, waiting for that Leopard to come in. Again, I think he's having difficulty trying to get a viable solution using the battle assistant, and he's switched to overhead mode. Again, that might be because he's not using the right battle assistant. There is a stable one you can use with Armored Inspector, which doesn't suddenly try to look upwards. But those bushes also getting in the way. Okay, he's decided to switch positions. Now, remember, there's only one Arty left. It's an Object 261. He knocked down that truck. Now, the enemy might have been looking for that truck to get knocked down, but you see he's parked away from it. Now, that means if the enemy Arty does aim at the truck, he will miss him. He might stun him, but he won't get him. And that's what's important. The other thing he could do is he could drive to that Leopard and try and shoot him directly, or he can leave this area altogether and leave the Manticore to do the work. And I think that's what he's decided to do. A digger spotted, so now he needs to move fast and get into the dead land where the enemy can't see him and the enemy Arty can't fire at him. Because the enemy Arty is sure as hell going to try and nail him if he can. Okay, the enemy Arty should know where we are now, but he has got difficulty trying to shoot in this general direction. The Leopard is hunting us as well as the Manticore, but he doesn't know where the Manticore is. It's still one of the most stealthful of all the light tanks. It's got a hugely powerful gun. It's a battleship gun, 105mm, and therefore he should be able to get the guy with just one shot. Now, the Object 261 will be a full health tier 10 Arty. We fired a round in there. I didn't have it on the right setting at the moment, so I didn't see what the shell did, or if it actually... It sounded like it exploded, so it sounded like he didn't hit it. Oh, he's in the corner, and he's been found. Now, lay the shell down on top of him. Even if you just stun him, you can kill him. The Leopard will try desperately to keep this guy alive. That's a kill! Beautiful. Now, we need to quickly move over to the... I would actually go directly to the castle and stay below it, because if you go to the castle and stay below it, he can't use the castle to try and shoot at the Manticore. Manticore is capping. He's decided to head over this way. Now, the Leopard could get into the castle grounds and try and shoot at us. No Sixth Sense going off yet, so we haven't been spotted. That's the most likely direction that the enemy Leopard is going to go into. He's not going to try and cap, he's going to try and reset. Get close to the rock. That's it. Oh, he took a fire! And he did go to the castle. Okay, so he's hugging the wall here. Now, more than likely, that Leopard's going to try for a reset. So get into the cap and box him as to which one is going to take the reset. Keep the cap going. The Manticore fired. Now, you can get half in, half out. Oh, no, you can't. Okay, so he's going to try and shoot the guy. Okay. Make it hard. He's waiting. He's waiting. Upset him. Now. Yes! Solid hit. Oh, he got the kill! The Manticore got the kill, which won the game. And the Manticore's happy as well. That was yet another truly excellent game from the Bassman from Hell in the Object 261. He got a first-class tanker, not an ace tanker out of this one, but he did get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got a counter battery fire medal for taking out both enemy SPGs, the Batchat 155-58 and the Object 261. And you have to scroll the page to see everything he did in that game. And the last one, of course, was the Bruce medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 12, and his win rate from that game was 4,036. Towards the end of the battle, he did some things which were different than I would have done. I would have actually sat underneath the castle wall, and then every time the leopard came close, he would have been proximity spot, and the manticore would have a perfect shot at him, and he just wouldn't be able to poke out without taking a round for the price. And so, yes, I probably would have done that. But the thing is that the baseman was right, because what he did was go to the cap, hide behind the rock, even though he had to take a round to do it. And then he could fire a round at the leopard as well. So the manticore didn't have to do all the work. The manticore took the kill in the end that won the game. But the baseman stripped the guy of health, and that helped the manticore to do the job. So basically, the baseman was right. I was wrong. And he was much better off going to the cap, sitting in the cap, and forcing that leopard to fire at them. Because if 2 of them sat in the cap, he was in big trouble, because he would have to fire and get at least 1 reset, or he would lose the game. What a great game it was. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see the highest damage in that game actually went to the E100 on the enemy team. He picked up 5,571 hit points of damage, and he got a high caliber and Confederate. So well done to the E100 on the enemy team. He actually did take some damage from the baseman. Second highest damage in this game actually went to the Manticore, and he picked up 4,884 hit points. He got a Faden's medal because he used his last round to take out the Leopard, as well as the Tank Sniper. So that's a rare game for any Manticore to get, where you use up all your ammunition and at the last moment get the kill that wins the game. But I'm sure Baseman would have actually provided the final shot if he had to, right at the end. And in third place, you've got the 60 TP on the enemy team, 4,422 hit points. He put up a valiant fight, but right towards the end, he was overwhelmed. And yes, there was no way he could keep going. He was taken out. Baseman managed 3,393 hit points. That means there was only 2 players ahead of him on the enemy team, 3 players on his own team. That puts him in 6th place when it comes to damage. When it came to kills, though, the top scorers were, yes, the Manticore got 5 and Baseman got 4. So they were very close together in that game. 3 kills went to the IS-7 on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, well, that's the Manticore again, 1,363. He well overperformed in that game. He was the only one to get over 1,000 base, but the Baseman managed 921, and then the Rhinoceronte got 894. Baseman fired 19 rounds, so even if the Manticore didn't get that final kill, he would have had 1 more round, and the Baseman would have been on a Faden's medal at that point. So if he had fired and taken out the Leopard at that point in the game, he would have picked up a Faden's as well. So it just goes to show how tight it was right at the end of the game. 14 direct hits on the enemy, 1 penetrating shot, which I suspect is that Batchat 155-58. We can just check that to be sure, but yes, it was 213 hit points. The Gorilla 15 was overwhelmed by the shot that actually hit him. 372 didn't actually count as a penetrating shot. I think it may have hit the gun area. We can see here that it damaged the track and it took out the gunner. So I suspect that, yes, it just overwhelmed him, because gorillas don't have much in the way of armor. And normally you get a shot like that on them, it won't necessarily be a pen, but it might be. The Batchat, though, has such thin armor that that shell just went straight through him and completely wiped him out. Go back to the details. Got 19 splashes as well. Even though he fired 19 rounds, 19 splashes, everything did something. 3,393 hit points, of which 3,100 were at more than 300 meters. One enemy hit received. It was a penetrating shot. That was from the leopard right towards the end of the game as he crossed the cap area. And of course, the leopard said, well, I have to put a shell into that to try and take him out. But he didn't take him out. And the bassman was able to get behind the rock quickly enough to prevent the leopard following the shot up. 11 enemy vehicles were damaged, 4 were killed, and he got 272 hit points of stun assists off 16 stuns in the game. And in fact, actually, that shot, that 272, came from the last shot in the battle because, of course, it was he stunned the leopard, and the manticore finished him off. And so he picked up the stun assist right at the end, but he did cause 16 stuns in the intervening period. And I think that's the reason why he didn't get the ace tanker out of this game, because he did fire so many shells, so many stun shells, but didn't get much in the way of stun off them. Just the last shell was the one that provided the stun. He also got 1 capture point because he was sitting just in the cap right at the end of the game. I don't think he could actually get any further into the cap without being seen by the leopard. But the moment that he moved close to the cap, the leopard must have seen him, been distracted, and that's when the manticore said, I'll have you. And it worked out beautifully. You can see again, the battle was in the last 2 minutes as well of the game. There was only, 1 minute 40 seconds left to go. So we weren't in the countdown yet, but we were close. Now, he did make a loss on this one of 13,829 credits. Not sure why it's actually a loss, because, yes, he did have to repair the vehicle. And, well, the shells he was using are expensive, but he didn't have to pay his consumables. So I guess it was just the fact that he didn't get a whole lot for the actual battle itself. But yeah, it's a small loss of 13,829, but it was a great game. He also got 25 bonds because, of course, he got a mission achievement, and 7 bonds because this was tier 10, so 32 in total, and 6,909 experience points, including 5,528 for a mission achievement. That really was a great gap battle. I'm looking forward to reading Bassman's synopsis on what he actually did, because it gives you an insight into, did you think the same way as the Bassman? Did you get it right? I know in this battle that Bassman got it absolutely perfect. He did take a hit, but he did get it right because there was 2 guns facing the leopard instead of 1. And instead of actually sitting underneath the castle, distracting the leopard all the time and showing up where he was, he actually was enabling that manticore to finish the cap off. And the leopard didn't try to poke shells in each of the bushes to try and find out where he was. He was more concerned about the Object 261 that passed in front of him, and it must have been distracting him all the time, thinking, oh, I want that kill. But of course, whilst he was distracted, he wasn't trying to find out where the manticore was. But it was a great game. Very, very interesting indeed. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And we are going to be doing another Object 261 battle very shortly. Not the next video, but the one afterwards. So do stick around for that, because that could be very interesting as well. Thanks for watching.